Captain Peter Cuttsy with part 3 of the Circle to Land. We're going to discuss go around. And remember, the rule is, depending on where you are in the circling to land, if a missed approach is required, that is, go around in a missed approach, you must complete the missed approach procedure for the IFR approach that you executed, not the runway that you're landing on. In this case, we are executing a localizer approach to runway 13 right at Abu Dhabi. And in the case of a missed approach, we must carry out the missed approach procedure for that localizer approach. Let's have a look at it on a Jeppesen chart. Here we are. Here, the missed approach procedure is climb straight ahead to Itkoff and hold, climb to 4,000 feet. And we can see it here for runway 13 right to Itkoff. If you follow my cursor right now on the screen, and part of the marks here, we would be following that magenta line and then breaking off 45 degrees and coming around and landing on runway 31 left. If we had to go around and we were in this position here at Sokof, it would be straight ahead to Itkoff. All right, that makes sense. Let's clear that and let's go to a different color. If we were doing the approach and we had made the 45 bank turn, turning towards the airport, if we had to go around at this point, turning towards the airport and intercepting the missed approach is what we'd have to do. That makes sense. If we were doing the approach and we were 45 off and we were downwind, and at this point before turning base leg, if we had to go around for whatever reason, we turn towards the airport and we would intercept the missed approach. That makes sense. Now, if we, again, another scenario, got to this point and we started our base leg turn and we had to go around on base leg, you would turn towards the airport, a tight turn, all the way around and come and intercept the missed approach that way. Now you can see the importance for what I said about staying at flaps 15 so that you are well within the PANS ops criteria. If you clean up as you are at this point here, you could end up outside the criteria. So that's something that we have to remember. All right, so we've come up to Sokof -2. And the lovely thing about the simulator and this presentation is we can view the vertical path deviation here on the CDU, and we've got it here. And now descent has started. So we can follow through on the CDU. At the same time, we can have a look at the Prague 2-4 very quickly on the first officer side without changing the picture. So in our training online that I do in tutoring, the software that I'm using is very realistic and easy to train with, as you can see. And it's important you understand what the CDU is telling you. It's all good information with respect to the target speed that's already on the MCP. You can see it here on the MCP. All right, so we're in our descent. We have configured with the 8 items as we briefed on in parts 1 and 2. And we're going to initiate a go around before we get to the turn. And remember, the go around will be straight ahead. We'll just pause the dynamic movement of the aircraft and just review the go around procedure. I've gone through a very detailed video in my Google Drive library with respect to go around, which is a maneuver that isn't totally understood by many pilots. Yes, the FCTM says go around flaps 15, positive rate, gear up, but there's much more to it than that. That is correct. But what you should be doing is depressing toga, calling go around, ensuring that you get toga go around on the FMA, that the aircraft does pitch up, thrust does move forward, and you follow the thrust through until you've got go around thrust, and also ensure that you are pitching up towards 15 degrees before calling flaps 15. Then on a positive rate climb from the pilot monitoring on the barometric altimeter, the pilot flying will confirm the positive rate on his or her altimeter and call for the gear up. At 1,000 feet, bug up and clean up to flaps up speed and stay with all AFDS systems. Now, you must remember that on a single channel approach, which we are now, that when you actually select toga, the autopilot will disengage. So you'll be manually flying the aircraft for that first portion of the go-around. But you're well above 400 feet in this case, and if you feel comfortable and the aircraft is in trim, engage the autopilot. In this case, the captain's doing the flying, so he'll engage Command A. Use all AFDS systems to your full advantage. And ensure, of course, double check that you do have the missed approach set. Now, we haven't actually gotten to minimum yet, so the missed approach altitude isn't set. So if we go around at this point, ensure that you trigger someone to set 4,000 feet altitude-wise. That has to happen. Nothing will happen to the aircraft because you're in VNAV path and following VNAV path at this particular point. And I would recommend that even though most SOPs state that pilot flying when engaged with an autopilot will make all MCP entries, use your head. The go-around procedure is a very delicate procedure and must be accomplished exactly and precisely. I would recommend that the pilot flying call for a change in the altitude on the MCP. Set missed approach 4,000 feet, then push toga. So this is something called airmanship, and that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to cut the aircraft loose. I'm going to set 4,000 feet, and then I'm going to call go around, and we'll take it from there. Set 4,000 feet. Go around toga on the FMA. We're pitching up towards 15 degrees, flaps 15, positive rate, gear up. We've engaged Command A. we want to go to LNAV, which we are in LNAV already. We've confirmed that. And now we can bug up to flaps up speed and then clean up respectively out of 3 for 4,000 feet. Flaps 1 and then flaps up. We are in LNAV, altitude acquired, which is fine. We're level at 4,000 feet, and which is perfect. But what we can do is go to VNAV and set a cruise altitude of 4,000 feet. So we can actually end up in VNAV path. And we can do that by selecting VNAV again and making sure that we speed intervene and that we keep our speed at flaps up speed. Now we're in VNAV path. That would be called by the pilot flying, and the pilot monitoring would do that for him, because the pilot flying should focus on the missed approach procedure. In the tutoring that we would do online for all of your IPT training that you're going to take when you're taking an initial course with an airline, and your fixed base simulator can all be done with me. I'll follow the script that you give to me from the airline that's hired you. And when you go to them after you've done your ground school online, and you go to them for your instrument procedure trainer lessons, let's say 5, and your fixed base training lessons, let's say 5, there are 10 lessons, I'll do it with you here. And you'll be able to share the CDU, and you'll be able to make inputs on your computer, wherever you are in Warsaw, Poland, Minsk, Russia, Panama, wherever you are in the world. As I tutor you, you will have this software, this CDU, and I will see what you are entering, and you will see what I am entering. And we'll do it online. And when you go to your new company, you'll pass with flying colors. All right, there we go. That was a straight ahead missed approach. We'll stop this video here, and I'll reset up on final approach for the next video. We'll end this video here, and in the next part, we'll do a go around from another position. Thanks for watching.